Such was the most obvious benefit obtained by the emperor from the consecration. What had he gained besides? Did the enormous expenses which he had himself incurred and caused also to others attach the Parisians who had most profited by them to his government? It is in vain to calculate the total expenditure or what the consecration had cost such bodies as the Senate, the legislative body, the city of Paris, 108 departments of 36 good towns, or individuals, marshals, generals, grand officers, senators, legislators, tribunes, mayors, and presidents of cantons. The computation must be confined to what had been paid out from the treasuries of the crown and state. Knowing the clamor that was being raised, the emperor had this notice inserted in the Moniteur of Pluvius 13th of the year 8. It has been asserted that the coronation has cost 50 to 60 millions. It has cost 4.5. 3 to the treasury, the crown, 1.5 to the state. The following are the figures: ministry, the interior, 700,000; of justice, 300,000; of worship, 100,000; of war, 400,000. But from an official calculation made in 1813, when the coronation of the empress and the king of Rome was being considered, it appeared that there had been paid out of the treasury of the crown not 3 millions, but on special accounts amounting to 5 million francs. Another one, around 5 million francs, which represent the direct expenses incurred for the purpose of the consecration itself, not the additional expenses borne at this time by all the services and charged upon the general accounts of the budget. There have been paid out from the state treasury not 1.5 million, but 3,376,397 francs. Thus, the portion interior 1,182,964 and 67 francs. Worship. I'm not going to read all this. This was at least double of what the emperor had declared, and the money which had been poured into Paris on account of the coronation could not be valued at less than 20 millions. Were the Parisians satisfied? Whilst the embroiderers complained of having had so much work in so little time that they have been obliged to have recourse to the provinces, whilst the contractors grumbled at the middlemen who shared their profits, the citizens passed from hand to hand epigrams, which were their delight. Some were coarse, some were obscene, and some were merely silly. Le zèle du préfet mérite qu'on le loue, mais il a beau sabler balayer nuit et jour, partout où passera la gueule, partout on verra de la boue. They amused themselves with anagrams. For example, Napoleon, empereur des Français, ce fol empire ne durera pas son an. This notice was put up at the carousel. The imperial comedians will today present the first representation of the emperor in spite of all the world, followed by the forced consent. This spectacle is presented on behalf of an injured family. Then there were the puns and quibbles. Pendant la cérémonie, Bonaparte se tenait sur son tronc couvert de boue et sanglant. During the ceremony, he stood erect upon his throne, with his head covered and without tassels or acorns. This is just as cryptic, and judging from the quality of the others, scarcely worth elucidation. Then there were the puns and quibbles. Why did they put so many stars among the decorations of Notre Dame? Because the hero of the festival fell from the clouds. The lemonade sellers vending their refreshments in the church cried out at the top of their voices, almond cream, lemonade, marrons glacé, pistache. This pun, pistache, Pius Sturgis himself took on so well that they made an image of it, since the name of Pius VII also lent itself to all kinds of ribald jests. The Gaelic wit was unsparing. There are 4 things by which to measure the popular feeling of a distant time: songs, pictorial representations, plays, broadsides, and occasional verses. On this occasion, the songs, generally written in order, were wretchedly poor. Popular songs having called for, some of them were so silly that they were perhaps maliciously so, such as this one, to the tune of Bestrang or Half Crown Hop. Vive, vive Napoleon qui nous baille de la volaille, du pain et du vin à poisson. Vive, vive Napoleon. Long live Napoleon, who supplies us with fowl and bread and wine in plenty. Long, long live Napoleon. And this one to the tune of V'là ce que c'est aller au bois. Look what it is to go to the wood. Napoleon est empereur. Voilà ce que c'est avoir du cœur. C'est le fils aîné de la valeur. Il est l'espérance et l'appui de la France. Et lui rendra toute sa splendeur. Voilà ce que c'est d'avoir du cœur. Napoleon is emperor. Look what it is to be a hero. He is the eldest son of valor. He is the hope and stay of all France. He will bring back to her all her glory. Look what it is to be a hero. Second verse. Il brûlait d'être au champ d'honneur. Voilà ce que c'est d'avoir du cœur. Le canon ne lui fait pas peur. Pas d'effet de marque. Bientôt, on le remarque. Il obtient un grand supérieur. Voilà ce que c'est d'avoir du cœur. He burned to be in the field of honor. Look what it is to be a hero. The cannon does not fright him. He is soon noticed by his deeds of renown, raised to a higher rank. Look what it is to be a hero. There was no mention of the Pope except in a musical comedy sung in the different theaters of Paris, where a couplet was devoted to the Supreme Pontiff, Te Coronation au nom du roi des rois, crowning thee in the name of the King of Kings. There was none, even in the true account of the coronation of the emperor by a young man by Falaise, in 22 couplets, to the tune of Aimez-vous, Mademoiselle Suzanne? Do you love Miss Susan? This was according to order, either because fear was felt for the stupidity of the official poets, or because it was not deemed advisable to increase a popularity already considered too great. This popularity was attested by the images. There certainly were numerous representations of the emperor and empress in their grand costume, the emperor kneeling to be crowned by the Pope, the emperor crowning Josephine, but they were neither so many so excellent nor so interesting as at the time of the Concordat or the General Peace. It was a portraiture of the Pope that was most popular, consisting of thousands of portraits of every price, kind, and process, from mounted, colored engravings, which were dear, down to saintly little pictures, which the devout kept in their mass books. They were of every shape, appearance, and size, but mostly commonplace, as was suitable for commonplace people. The portraiture here, as in many cases, was significant. It showed that the success of the Pope had overshadowed that of Napoleon, not indeed in the eyes of the populace who had watched the procession, but in the eyes of the middle-class citizens and business people. This proved again by the quantity of fugitive papers, prayers, notices, and pamphlets sold or distributed, whilst, in spite of the police, in spite of Fouché, whose idea of issuing several pamphlets on the coronation the emperor had approved, there exists nothing to indicate the curiosity and enthusiasm of the people, or the large circulation of certain official writings. The remains of them are scanty, and there is nothing among them by which a doctrine could even be outlined. The drama was astonishingly poor. There were no occasional or elusive pieces among the free shows given on Frimaire the 10th, the eve of the consecration, at the Imperial Academy of Music. There was the Constable and Secchi, at the Francais, the Festin de Pierre, and Saint-Grenadel, at the Vaudeville. The Party Wall, du Gay-Trouin, René Lesage, at the Marais, Gabriel de Vergy, and the Nightly Drum, at the Porte Saint-Martin, the Hermit of Severn, at the Ambigu, Georges and Pauline, at the Gaîté Les Pointeux, at the Jeune Artiste, the False Beggars, at the Jeunes Élèves, another mannequin, at Louvois, at La Cité, at Montadier, at Moreau. There was a free performance of the pieces then running only at the Comédie Comique. Was it necessary to pay? This was for Zemire and Azor.